back. Today I'm working on the Banshee again, and I am replacing my cover with a quick change clutch cover, and while I'm at it, I'm also upgrading to a billet clutch basket because my cushions are shot and the fingers on the basket aren't that great, and I have clutch issues every once in a while. Also at the same time, I'm going to be doing a lockout on it because I'm already in there, so why the hell not? I've already started disassembling here while my lovely wife was washing her bike for another video, but I'm halfway there. This time around we're going to take the Nerf bar off because you can see better, and I think I might have to space it out a little bit from the frame when I put the lockout cover, but we'll see. So let's get at it. Alright, so quick change clutch cover, self-explanatory. These come out, you can take this off without taking your whole clutch cover off. Much easier to do clutch adjustments, change clutches, whatever you want to call it. Billet clutch basket. You take your Banshee clutch basket, this back plate's removable on it, and there's cushions in there, rubber cushions. And when you can take your basket, and I'll demonstrate with the old one when I get it out, but I'll show you on this one. This one's nice and billet, so it won't wear out. But if you can take it and move the gear separate from the clutch basket, it's shot. And mine's bad. That's why I'm having some clutch issues, especially when cold. So I got a real good deal on this. This is all used. I scored this on the internet on Banshee HQ. So this is your lockout. This bolts to your pressure plate on your clutch. It just goes right out in there. And what it does is, once the spinning centrifugal force pushes these out, and these little fingers, whatever you want to call them, push out against the pressure plate, giving you greater clamping force. So I believe I have a little clutch slippage on mine on the top end when it's in the power band, so this will definitely extend your clutch life for sure, but it's also, in my opinion, a great add-on to a somewhat modified Banshee, especially when you have clutch slippage issues. So let's get to work. Alright, so now we're going to undo these 6 bolts that hold the pressure plate. You don't necessarily have to undo this pancake bearing or the clutch adjuster. I call it a pancake bearing because that's what it is. And the pressure plate will just come off. So let's see if my drill's strong enough. Nope, I got to break it off by hand. Pressure plate will just come right off with the bearing, and this way when you don't loosen this, you won't have to adjust it. Pressure plate looks good. Set it right here. Now we're going to pull out our clutches out all at once. And this is our hub, inner hub, so clutches still look good. Really good actually, I'd say. So now we're going to do our little locking tab here. Pry it up with the screwdriver. Hit it with a hammer / ratchet. Get underneath it so you can pry it back. It's a locking washer. So you want to bend the tab back so you can get a socket on this bolt. That should be good. 32 millimeter socket. It's best to have an impact for this. Hold it. Actually, since I'm not worried about the clutch basket anymore, we're gonna go and hold this with a screwdriver so I don't rip the skin off my fingers. But you can hold this with like a rubber filter wrench or something if you don't have an impact, and undo it by hand, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. I strongly recommend an impact. So you don't need a lot of pressure on that nut. That's why it comes off mine came off that easily, because the lock washer, as I'll show you here, if I can get it out, because it's suction with oil. Holds this in place. This tab bends over this nut. This tab bends over this nut and it holds it. So you don't need to over tighten that. All right, so now we'll take our inner clutch hub off. Inspect it. There's a flat washer behind it, so don't lose that. Mine's not looking that great. Thankfully I have a lot of these. I'm going to replace my inner clutch hub because it's got a lot of wear. As you can see, I can catch my fingernail on those. Alright, so now we're going to take off our clutch basket. It just slides off. And there's a little washer back here too, but either, well, you can pull it off, but mine stayed. Now I'll show you the play in this basket.
Down.
So I'll show you the play in this basket. See that? The cushions are shot. It's bad harmonics for everything, and it's just bad. Plus my fingers are pretty worn. They're grooved, if you can see in there. You can actually feel the ridges. So this one's seen its better days. Now don't throw this away, because you could. The basket itself is shot. I say, you know, just this is garbage, but this gear, you can get another basket like this and drill these out, and you can get new cushions. So these are rebuildable. But if yours is doing that, you're gonna have clutch engagement problems for sure. Especially if it's grooved like this too. So do yourself a favor, spend 160 to 200 bucks for a billet one, and get rid of this guy. So we're gonna set it aside, and we're gonna grab our new billet one. See, no movement. So you got a bushing here, inspect it. Ours looks pretty good. Slide it back on the shaft, and your idler gear. So a lot of people freak out over this when they see this idler gear move like that. It's supposed to do that. It's gonna do that. So that's fine. This bolt right here, or gear, I'm sorry, gear. If you ever take this off, this is your water pump drive. This is your crank. This is your clutch drive for your basket. This is your water pump drive. Make sure if you ever take this nut off, you Loctite this, because this will come off. So now we're gonna go ahead and slide our clutch basket on. Actually, I'm gonna take some of this oil that's dripping down here and grease the bushings a little bit. Now it's fresh oil, clean pan, it's all good. I just changed it not long ago, and there, that's locked in. You want to kind of wiggle it sometimes if it doesn't want to go in on you. Then you're going to take your washer. Doesn't matter which way it goes. This one's been running like this, so we're just going to put it back in the same way. And we're going to put our marked hub. This one isn't grooved. That just has marks from the clutch plates, but the other one was grooved. So I'm going to slide this guy out. Go. Now we're going to take our locking tab washer and we're going to set it right here. Is a little groove at the bottom. This can only go one way. There's a little tab down here. This tab will go in there in that clutch hub. And you don't Loctite this. That's what the lock washer's for, because I don't know if you'd ever clean all this oil off of it. So that's what the lock washer's for, or locking tab washer's for. So tighten this guy up by hand as much as you can. Clean the oil off your hands. Before you touch your impact, so it's not all oily the next time you go using it. Take your 32 millimeter, hold this by hand, and then just give it a few hits. That's exactly what I wanted to do. We're gonna hold. And that's good enough. It's lined up. Actually, see, that's too tight. Back it up just a little bit. There you go. You want this to not drag. Ow! And don't cut your fingers on all these sharp edges. Good thing I didn't break the skin. But yeah, you don't want this. Maybe I'll hit it even a little bit more. Just a tiny bit. Loosen it up. Yeah, that's good. You want this to spin freely. You don't want it to have any drag. Now, you want to take your tab and bend it back over. And for that, the way I do it is I get some vice grips, and they work great. So get yourself a good pair of vice grips, adjust it to the size you need, and then just bang this tab down. And it works like magic. Take a screwdriver or some sort of a hit utensil, a ratchet that works as good as a hammer, except if it's got a wobble head on it, then it doesn't. And that's it. That's what we want. And it's folded nicely over. That's not going to go anywhere. Our clutch moves. We're in neutral right now, so the bike's got compression. Now we're going to go ahead and stab our plates back in, our clutch plates. So, alright, so now we can put our clutch fibers back in. So there's nothing in here but the hub and the basket. Always first you put a fiber in, and steel. My steels are all flat, same size, so it doesn't matter where you put them, because they do have, however, these little, they're a little rounded on this side, and they're flatter on this side. Just make sure you put them all the same way. Doesn't matter which way they go, as long as they all go the same way. I like to put mine with the rounded parts coming out. And you put another friction in. Soak this a little bit more in some fresh oil. Plate or steel. And remember, flat side or round side up. I'm doing round side up. This is a total of 7 clutch fibers. This is a Driveline Performance Trail Dune clutch, or Dune Trail, whatever. Great clutches. I like them. Come on, sausage fingers. Don't need to suck the plate. It's already, the steel, I mean, the plate's already got some on it. Oil on it. And use whatever you're dipping your clutches in. And these are already pre-soaked. I don't like, they're kind of dry, so I don't like putting them in dry, so I'm just getting them a little bit of oil on there. But use whatever oil that you dip your clutches in, that's what you should run. I recommend this clutch. This is a great clutch. Never had a problem with it. I have a 421 serval that makes probably every bit of 85 horsepower, and this clutch holds fine without a lockout. So, number 7, fiber, last fiber. You should end up with the fiber, not a steel. So, always remember, fiber, steel, and you should end up with the fiber on the outside as well. So that's the proper way of going about it. Now I do have a ceramic ball, up new rod, and a pancake bearing, which we filmed. We had in another video, so I shouldn't have to adjust this much. I guess we'll see when we put it back on. Now, there's these little dots here on the hub, and then there's these arrows on the pressure plate. So the way you want to do it is when you put your pressure plate back on, you can put it on wrong. So come on, adjuster. So that is the right way. I'm trying to show you the wrong way. So bear with me. So these arrows they have to line up, and you heard that. It bottoms out against the clutch hub. These little arrows have to align with that. So you know when it's seated flat, because it's going to be right against the pressure plate, just like that. All the way. And you're not going to hear a clunk from the clutch hub. But you know when it's on right because you have a gap here. This is on right. So you want to align these right, and we'll go from there. Now we can put our springs back in. We won't be reusing the factory bolts because the lockout mechanism comes with its own. So we're going to use those. We're going to pop these suckers in here. And now we're ready for So now we're going to reinstall our lockout, and they come with these kind of bolts, Allen heads, and this is a 5mm. That's what I thought. I should be setting this on dirty concrete. No, I'm just kidding, it's not dirty. Anyway, make sure you don't want to install it like this, because that won't work. You want all your little fingers to be folded in. And I know sometimes it can be a pain in the butt, but start it with a bolt. started with a couple bolts. I guess you could fold these out for now while we put the bolts in, and then we'll go crisscross pattern. When you got upgraded springs, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Oops. Demonetized. Start them evenly. Alright, see now I went too far. Now I can't find my pressure plate. There we go. We're going to go fold these guys back in here. Now we're going to go. Oops. Here. 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 Over here. Over here. Here. So and so, you get it. So this is flush. That's how that goes. So now these won't fold down. Now, when your engine speed goes up and you're hauling ass, these fold out, push on this pressure plate, and call it good. Now we got to tighten our bolts, which my little drill won't do. So we're going to torque by hand, torque the spec. You can put a little rag in here in between your gear to prevent it from turning on you. And we're just going to go crisscross. I want to say 8 foot-pounds or something like that from Yamaha. Just hand tight. I never torque this. Once it's tight, we're going to go all the way around. Make sure we didn't miss anything. That's it. Now, so we should check our clutch play on our lever real quick. Go ahead and turn your clutch back and take your rag out of your gear before you forget it and assemble it back all together, and then you got to run your bike and you're screwed. Yep, works pretty good. Adjustment's spot on. So now you can put our clutch cover on. So I'm going to use a little RTV, just a little bit of RTV here in certain places because I tore my gasket and I don't have another one. So I'm going to use RTV even though I'm not a fan of it. I'm just going to improvise. I like to put a little on the soldering just in case it's going to work. But now we can put our clutch cover on. Make sure all your gears, everything's lined up. Thank you, assistant. Should have polished this. What the crap.
Sorry.
Oh well, it's cleaner than the other one. I just like to go fast. I don't care about no dang old. Actually, you know what? Before we put this guy on. Sorry. Okay, in typical Yamaha fashion, they use Phillips head screws. And this one won't come out. So this is what an impact screwdriver looks like. You use a hammer, you take it, and you turn it like so, and you hit it. And out comes your screw. So if you don't have one, and you have a Banshee, or any older Yamaha for that matter, and you like to work on it, do yourself a favor and get yourself an impact screwdriver. And don't use this. Throw it out. But that's why I wanted to get my Pro Design Easy Drain water pump cover in this. I'm gonna get my vent hose out of here because I'm gonna put my vent hose back in. A lot of guys like to cap these off, but I don't know. I don't have any vacuum caps right now with clamps that will go in there, so I'm just gonna pull this guy out and reuse it. Come on. I guess it doesn't want to come out. Ah, there it goes. Just a little persuasion. I'm gonna pull it out the top here. I'm gonna go feed it on the new one. And that we'll worry about when the new clutch cover is on. I don't feel like dealing with it right now. So we got our vent back in. It goes in through the top, down through here, and it hooks right there. There's a little clamp that holds it. You can cap this off with a vacuum fitting or something, but I have the vent. Some guys like the cleaner look. I don't care, it's just whatever. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our cover back on. Make sure all these caps out of your way. Installed. That's how you know it's on. Now we can go ahead and put our bolts back in, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Remember, this one's the only long one that goes right here by the oil filler. The rest are all the same, so it don't matter unless you got a second strip one. Then put one where you can access it. Make sure my water pump's turning. Yep. Alright. You filming?
Yep.
So we're going to put Peppa Pig back on.
What, Peppa Pig?
Yeah, Peppa Pig, Bert.
What it was?
You know Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
Got the water pump cover back on here. So I'm going to give her a quick little wipe down. Have some, wash it with coolant, get the dust off of it. I like the black actually. I was going to paint this red, but I think I'll leave it. What do you think?
I think it looks good.
It looks terrific. Right here. There's no way that's for me. Now we're going to put the rear brake back on, and hopefully this clears. Oh yeah, I think. She's all done. Now all I got to do is just put the oil back in that I lost, even though my brilliant idea of tipping the bike over on its side didn't work as good as I thought it would because there was still enough oil in there to leak out. And I didn't want gas leaking out the tank because it's pretty full. Coolant, and she's done. So now we're going to put her back on the ground and do that. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.